Hey everyone, welcome back to Glitz and Glitter. It's Tumbler Day. I got a custom order for a birthday gift. This one was ordered from Barbara Barnett. Hi Barbara and husband. So Barbara has ordered you a custom tumbler for your birthday this year, and looks like you are turning 55 years old. You know how I know that? Because this is what she wants on your tumbler. How do you like that? So she went through Creative Fabrica and she picked out exactly what she wanted, and she told me what she wanted, so I downloaded it for her. I've printed it on vinyl. So I printed this at my house on my printer. Everything I use, printer, vinyl, everything, tumblers, always linked below in the description box. So if you're just getting started in tumblers and you don't know where to start, there's a good place. Or if you know, you already do tumblers and you want this image, I will put the image in there as well. So husband, I hope you like it. I didn't catch your name, otherwise I'd call you by your name. So we are going to do a 20-ounce tumbler, and she chose a swirl design. So she wanted dark green and purple and white. So I chose a couple colors. These are by Let's Resin and Pinata White. These are the colors that she asked for. I was testing colors, as you can see. These are the ones I'm not using. And all I did was I UV'd resined this little bottom portion that was indented on the bottom. So I put the resin in there. I cured it real quick. It only took a minute. That's cured. So the next step to get that actual design on a cup, we need it black. So we need a black tumbler. So I'm just going to take a little sandpaper. I'm going to sand the surface, wash it down with alcohol, and then I'm going to spray paint this tumbler with black spray paint, and then let it dry fully. And then if you're new to tumblers, this is a great technique to start with. This is so easy, and it really is. If you're doing a tumbler for the first time, I would suggest doing this technique for your first tumbler because you really can't screw it up. So just get the surface scratched up pretty good so it gives the paint something to adhere to. And then make sure you clean it really, really well. Get your bottom. Now you don't have to go crazy with the sandpaper. That's pretty much it. That's all I do. Then I'm gonna get a clean paper towel and just wipe it all down because there's a bunch of grime on here from sanding it. See how dirty that is? So make sure it's clean before you spray paint it. You could spray paint it any color you want, but for this design, I'm going to be doing black. And black usually looks pretty good with most colors. Now, the only other thing I'm going to be doing to this decal is I'm going to spray this with any clear sealer spray because I printed it on my inkjet printer and I don't want the inks to run underneath the resin. So I'm just going to spray this a couple times and let it completely dry before we end up putting it on. This will be later, probably tomorrow, because I am not going to be using my quick cure. And the reason for that is we want it to move a long time, so the colors to swirl together. So don't use a quick cure resin for this technique. Okay, I'll come back as soon as this is black. It is spray painted black and it's dry. I've been letting it dry about a half an hour, so I don't wait overnight or anything like that. If it's dry to me. I've got my catch mat underneath, and I will show you the products that I use for all the other stuff after because I don't want to waste precious time that I have to work with my resin. So I've mixed up 3/4 of a fluid ounce for a 20-ounce cup. And you're just gonna wanna put a generous amount on your tumbler so it has, you know, some play movement in there. I mean, you don't want it dripping off your cup, of course, but you definitely want a generous amount of resin on there so it has some time to move around and mingle with the other colors. And I know it's gonna look like I'm not doing anything because I'm gonna be dripping alcohol inks that are dark onto a dark surface, but that is what the white is for. So if you have never seen this technique, it's magical and it looks really cool. And then you'll take, you know, you can either take it off of your your turner to move it around, or use your heat gun to get the colors to move and react how you want them to. So this was still too much that I've mixed up, so you don't even need that much for a 20 ounce, but I'm just gonna add enough so it can move. You just don't want too much on your bottom for sure, or you're gonna end up having to sand it down. So let me change out my glove real quick, and then we'll start dripping the alcohol inks. All right, so make sure your inks are all open and ready to use, which mine are right here, and shake them pretty good. The white is gonna be saved for last. So I'm just going to take one color and randomly, randomly gonna drip it around the tumbler. You can see it if you're in person. You probably can't see it on the camera. I mean, I could see that I'm dripping it. I see where it's marking. What colors where, I don't know. We'll know that when we use the white. And then we could change it as we want to change it. So I picked two different purples. I'm not sure if we'll see different purples, but we're gonna try. Once you get all your inks on, get your white, whatever white you want. I use Pinata alcohol ink for the white. Shake it really well. And then drip it around your cup. And that's what's going to show us our color. And I forgot to do the bottom, so I'm just going to drip some drips on the bottom. I don't need a whole lot because my sticker will go down there with care instructions on how to take care of it. So we'll just drip a couple drips. Let it start spinning. And then you could take your heat gun, start manipulating it. And you can also take your colors and drip it back into your white so we can get some more color in there. So your heat gun is going to make it move as well and get runny. I see a couple bare spots that I've missed. I'm just going to drip a little bit more resin in them. Right there. And then your tumbler will turn the opposite way. So you could shut it off and see how it's going to run down. And flip it your opposite way. Sometimes you have to, I can't remember which way it was going now. So I'm just going to drip some drops. Yeah, it was going the other way. So they wanted their deep colors. So I'm just going to keep dripping it because I want the color in here. And this was the darkest green that I had, so I hope it's okay. And as it turns, it's going to change a lot. So what you see now is not what it's going to be when it's dry. Oops, spilling everything here. When it's dry, we're going to go over it again with some more resin and just seal all those colors in. Before we put the decal on, yeah. And then just keep twisting it the other way so it's going that way. I'm just going to let it sit for a minute and move. And then flip it back the other way. You could take it off the arm like so. I don't want it to do that much, but you can hold it up and down like this. So it's going to pull that way or go this way. Here's the bottom. So I'm just going to kind of manipulate it to move however you want it to. And if you need it to heat it up to get it a little watery again, just heat it up with your heat gun. All right, I'm just gonna let it spin and we'll see what we get when it's finished. I did promise to tell you what I was using. So the resin I use for long working time is my Aluminite Amazing Clear Cast Epoxy. So that's what I work with when I don't need a fast cure. The spray paint I use is just Rust-Oleum and it was matte finish. And then for the sealer on the decal, I used Mod Podge Matte. So those are the things that I use. You already saw the alcohol inks, and that's it for now. This is looking good, you guys. It's got the original coat with the inks on, and then I put 1 coat of resin on. It's been dried for 2 days now just because I have not had a chance to get back to it. Here's the bottom of it. So we are ready to move on and put the decal on, but first I'm going to take this opportunity, since it's off the turner, to just trim up this lip so it doesn't get too thick. There's going to end up being more on there, and we'll do it again, but I'm just going to do it now. And then I'm going to take some sandpaper and I'm going to sand the whole surface down, because I don't want to put a decal on a surface that might be a little bit bumpy in places. And we'll take and clean the inside of this cup out, get all that spray paint overage out of there when it's completely done. Okay, so I'm just going to take any kind of, it doesn't matter what grit. This one happens to be 220. I'm just gonna go over the whole thing lightly. I don't feel too much on here, but it will also help the next layer of resin stick pretty good. It'll help the decal stick pretty good. Get the bottom. And while I have this, I will put my sticker on the bottom, because once I have the decals on, I'm going to go over it with a coat of urethane sealer before my next coat of resin. And that seems to hold my stickers in so they don't peel up with the next coat of resin, because that is always very frustrating if something starts peeling and you've got resin on there. So I'm just going to go around this rim here, expose a little bit of the stainless steel so the resin has something to attach to. Just a tiny little bit. All right, so I don't feel any bumps, I don't think. I'm just gonna take some alcohol. You could wash it with soap and water, whatever you wanna do, and just get it cleaned off. Get all that dust off. Start with a nice clean surface. Wash my gloves off so I don't put dust back on everything. I'm gonna grab that decal over there that I printed out. I've already spray sealed it. I spray sealed it the day that I spray painted, so that sealer's been on there for a while now, so everything should be good. I'm just gonna grab my cradle real quick. So when you're putting your decal on, just kind of look for the spot you don't mind covering up, which honestly, I like all of it. I don't know where to put it. Maybe I'll put it over the purple. He might like green more. Just gonna grab this, kind of eyeball it, I guess, the best that I can. Again, this is vinyl. It's not a Cricut one, so I don't have to use transfer tape on it. So I'm just gonna kind of pray this is centered. And rub it down so you don't get any bubbles behind it. And if you do, try to get them out. So take your time on it. There we go. How does it look? I can't go around this one with any washi tape because it's circular, so that's why I cut a little white line around the whole thing. So that's gonna be the border. So let me go grab a care sticker for the bottom. These basically have my name on there, and then hand wash only, no microwaves, do not soak, avoid extreme temps, and do not drop. So those I put on the bottom in the center. I'm just gonna do it off camera so I don't mess it up. Press that down, no bubbles. And then we will seal this in as well with the sealer. So I will meet you over at the turner. All right, are you ready to get this thing finished up? This is my sealer, the urethane sealer. It's made by Counterculture DIY. It's not toxic, so you don't need gloves, but I am wearing gloves today. Sometimes I don't. I'm basically just going to rub this on everywhere, especially the bottom where the stickers are. But I do want it kind of everywhere, just to seal everything in. And this dries in maybe 20 minutes. Especially get it on your edges, the edges of your decal. That'll seal them in. And I do like to put it on the resin as well because it lets because I use their brand epoxy too, so it lets their epoxy adhere to it really nicely and you don't really get fish eyes. All right, that's it for that. I'm gonna let it spin till it's dry. We'll get some more resin on there and we're gonna finish this one up. It's time to get this cup all finished up. It is done. This is the finished product. Here is the label on the bottom. This one took a total of 5 coats. I put 5 coats on this one, and I only had to sand that first coat after the first, right before we put the sticker on. So I hope you like it, birthday boy. We're gonna clean up the edge one more time, get any overspilled resin off. And then I'm gonna take some acetone and a paper towel, get the spray paint out from inside. I've already washed it down with soapy water, but I will do it again after the acetone. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I hope you learned. If you're new to tumblers, definitely give this one a try. This one is really simple to do and you can manipulate it until you're happy. There we go. See all that spray paint that was on there? So make sure you don't forget to clean out your tumblers before you let them go. So here's the lid, got the straw, and I will get you some final pictures, you guys. Thanks for stopping in today. You guys all have a blessed day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. So, a little twist in the situation. I wonder if any of you caught it, because I didn't catch it. So I finished the tumbler, as you saw, closed out the video, took my final photos, emailed them to Barbara for approval before I sent it to her, and it wasn't 5-10 minutes. I received an email back, and Barbara's like, oh my gosh, the wrong year is on the vinyl decal. And I'm like, my heart sank to my stomach, and I realized that this said 1968. I think it was 1968, and it should have said 1969. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna get another one done for her in time for his birthday. And then realized, it's okay, calm down, think about it for a second. All I did was I got the right download, reprinted it, which came out a little bit different on the sides here. These sides are rounder than the other ones kind of went out. So when I lined it up to cover it, it didn't match. So then I was like, okay, I need another solution. So solution to that, because I'm just going to put this on and add 2 more coats of resin to save the tumbler. Otherwise, I'd have to strip it all down and start all over again. So my solution was this. I cut out a 4.5-inch piece of vinyl on my Cricut, a circle, because like I said, the sides were not the same, which actually I like the way this looks a little bit better. So now it's going to have a black border around the same decal with the proper year of his birth. So double check your orders, you guys. And I know you like to see mistakes and how they get fixed, which is why I'm showing you this, because I was not going to show you this. I was like, the video's already done. I'm not showing it to them. But then I hear you all in the back of my head saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so glad you show us your mistakes and how you fix them. So after a couple of hours of thinking about it, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back on and I'm going to show them how I fixed it. So that's how I'm fixing it. So I'm going to get this put on here. And what I'm going to do, because I've already, typically I would stick this to the black vinyl and then put the vinyl on the cup. But because I had to get this vinyl exactly in the right position, I wanted to see if I could do it first with the black. So now that it's already on here, I have to now get this in the perfect spot. So what I'm going to do is pull this down. I've resprayed this, I've resealed it a couple of times. I'm just going to fold this section over, get it where I want it on here before I actually unpeel the entire thing, because I don't want to ruin it. So get it on your cup, dry fit it first, and make sure it's exactly where you want it. Wow, first time, not too bad. Could move over just a little bit. And then we shall start again. So I'm so glad it was salvageable without stripping the cup down. That looks perfect now. Okay, so now I'm just going to unhinge it and carefully get this in place. Because I was worried I was not going to have this done in time for his birthday. But she informed me that the party was actually after the date, so that was a relief. Is that off center? No, the of is right at the bottom. Okay. I'm just going to keep bubbles from getting underneath. I do not need another issue with this. So some cups are salvageable. There we go. All right, I'm gonna get that bubble out right there. cover it in resin. So now, thank you guys for coming in. I hope you learned something. I don't like to learn this way, but unfortunately, sometimes it's unavoidable. So the following pictures are of the final product, I promise. I hope you guys like it, Barbara. You all have a blessed day. Bye-bye.